Soccer. Liberty Mutual Insurance, the official sponsor of U.S. Youth Soccer. Mango.org. Mango is the official snack of U.S. Youth Soccer. And Nestle Nesquik, the official post-game drink of U.S. Youth Soccer. All today's games are also brought to you by the Turbo Sports Group. Hello, everyone. I'm Todd Panula, and I am here at the Mohawk Soccer Complex in Tulsa, Oklahoma, site of the 2015 U.S. Youth National Championships, the culmination of the USYS National Championship Series. Today we've got an interesting matchup for you as it's Kansas Rush against NASA Elite. NASA Elite out of Atlanta, Georgia. North Atlanta is the NA. Soccer Academy is the SA. Kansas Rush, hailing from Olathe, Kansas. They are coached by Dauda Conte. NASA Elite is coached by Ray Tomlin, and they are officially out of Marietta, Georgia. So let's take a quick look at the standings as they are in Group B right now. This is going to be a Group B U18 boys matchup. Should be a pretty good one as both of these teams have plenty to play for right now. The standings after 2 days in Group B, currently Kansas, well, on the standings, they have 3 wins, no losses, no ties, 9 points. They have 11 goals, 3 against for a goal differential of 7. And obviously, as I said, they are going to go against NASA Elite. So as the teams take the field and ready themselves for this U18 boys matchup, I want to thank all of you for tuning in today for this presentation brought to you by Turbo Sports. I want to apologize for the late start. Obviously, that's nothing that really we could do about. The good Lord decided that today was going to be a rainy day. Still got some rain in the forecast. The sun is out right now, but we'll see whether or not that holds up because there is still potential in the forecast. Now, the last radar that we saw looked like there was going to be a hole over Tulsa for about an hour, and then it might close up again. There are still clouds off to the north, and that is where most of the rain has been happening. It's been kind of skirting right here in our location as we are just in the outskirts of Tulsa. But we'll see how things turn out. Just about ready to get underway. Kansas Rush is going to be wearing the gray kits with the blue trim. Going up against NASA 15 Elite. They will be wearing the all blue kits, yellow socks, white trim. The officials doing one final check, a survey of the field. Get the thumbs up from the fourth official. And there's the whistle. We're underway. Kansas Rush against NASA Elite U18 boys matchup. They send it up the near wing, trying to spring a quick counterattack right off the start. A good attempt there by Anthony Varela. Thought he might have gotten taken down as there was a slide tackle in the box. It's going to be interesting to see how the field held up. Not sure if you can pick it up on your screen or not. There's a lot of spray coming up off the back of the ball. Here's a good opportunity, and just a bit too hard there by El Khalil. Back and forth here. We haven't even played a full minute quite yet, and both teams have created chances into the opposing team's box. All the way back to the goalkeeper. Kansas Rush setting it up from the back. Rush Academy has picked up quite a few trophies in this tournament season. The Missouri Rush won in the under-16 category at the President's Cup Trophy Tournament. It was held in Overland Park just a week or so ago. Now the Kansas side of things trying to match it with a good performance here on the boys' side. In the under-18 bracket. Up the near wing, that one was intended for Varela. Cut off. Good battle here along the near side. Good defending by Jacob Shireman. That'll lead to a throw-in. NASA Elite puts it way down the wing. Kansas was able to get to that one. Through the midfield, diving for it was Robert Dean. He was unsuccessful. Still more water coming up there. The grass itself is actually still pretty spongy, pretty springy, but it's the underlying field. It's taken quite a bit of water here. It didn't rain too hard, but we've had rain on and off during the evenings for the past 3 days or so, so the ground has kind of soaked it up. It's kind of an interesting contrast. The ground right now is fairly firm, but it's still holding a lot of water at the top of the surface. And the grass itself has held up fairly well through 2 days of pool play, but obviously it's going to get chewed up pretty good today, and that'll make Saturday and Sunday pretty interesting. Kansas Rush will work it up the far sideline. Varela calling for it on the near wing, but the ball could not be played over to him. Kearns had it taken away from him, and now NASA Elite with a chance to set it up. Perez got a flick onto that one, but into touch. Near side for Shireman. Gives a little bit of a feint. Was trying to go for Varela. He slips. There's that turf. And the grass is probably going to give way quite easily here as this one is flicked back off the head of Jake DeJulio. Varela making the run on the near side, but NASA Elite doing a good job over on the far wing to try to cut that off. Trying to play it over was Ethan Bowman, and he is able to draw the corner kick.
Sammy, you have to speak the long ball, come out a little bit. You understand? And also, that one, green part, the one Billy ready. You understand?
So our first corner kick of the ball game goes to Kansas. It's going to be a right-footed corner from the far side, high up into the air. Goalkeeper stays on his line. Getting a touch to it was Bailey Weeks. He did pretty much what you want to do there. You want to knot it down into the ground. Those are difficult for the goalkeepers to try and react to. But unfortunately for him, it was just not on target. Nasser Elite trying to spring an attack. That's well out of the reach of El Halil. Up the far side, Nasser Elite will take it there as Tranor Hummel has it, bringing it through the midfield. Now on for Andrew Deltic. Deltic picking up speed. Finally, somebody picked him up. His pass towards the near side. Deltic gets it back, and then finally cleared away by the center back, Varela. Slide tackled cleanly. Along the near sideline, it's Thomas Perez taking it in with the left foot. And that one will go out of bounds. Goal kick. Up into the midfield, Kansas able to take it on the second attempt. Once again, get caught up in that water. Ethan Bowman couldn't quite get the kick that he would have liked due to the sloppiness over on the pitch. Varela jumped right into a player. Kansas trying to get a good amount of pressure here in the early going. We've had hydration breaks throughout the tournament. We'll wait and see if we're going to have any here today. Obviously, we wouldn't have one quite yet. And I apologize for the mix-up. I want to get you updated on the group standings just in case you don't have access to the website. This is actually a Group A matchup. I was looking at the wrong tournament. That was the regional tournament in which Kansas Rush won. Currently, Kansas Rush is in a tie for second place with 3 points. They are 1-1-0, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 tie. They have a goal differential of 0, 4 goals for, 4 goals against. NASA Elite is 0-1-1. They've got 1 point on the tournament. They have scored 4 goals but allowed 8. So even if they win here today, it's going to be pretty difficult to make up for that goal differential. Headed out. Kansas Rush throw from about the midfield spot. Got it in towards the box, and then that is booted out of the stadium, up and over. They'll throw a new ball in. That's been probably the only negative thing really about this tournament is each field only has 2 balls, so you don't have any in behind the goals. Kansas Rush will take the throw in from the far sideline, trying to find Varela. He had it bounce off of his thigh and out. So day 3 of this U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. Plenty to play for a lot of teams. Very few are officially out of it. NASA Elite needs some help, but if they can win here today, they would put themselves in a potential tie with Kansas Rush, depending on the result from the other game going on. And ultimately, then it would come down to goal differential as you see that ball kind of slowing down there in the midfield. It's kind of got different spots. Interesting to see that it's kind of at the top of the crown in the midfield, that the ball really slows down. It comes here near side to Varela. Ball settles down, deflected off the defender, and out into space. They're going to call it a goal kick. Thought for sure I saw a deflection there off the defender, but no argument here from the Kansas Rush bench. Nevertheless, a great opportunity there for Kansas Rush to try and take a lead. The ball settled down actually pretty nicely. Yesterday, that ball might have bounced up a little bit further. Comes over to the near side, cleared out with the left foot, flick over to the near side, headed up into the air by Shireman. Shireman trying to get it on it again, stolen away by Trevino. Trevino up top to El Halil into the box for NASA. Cleared away at least for the moment. Back to Trevino. Trying to get it over with the right foot, offside. The save was made. And sometimes the goalkeeper doesn't actually mind when a shot is taken like that for no other reason than you get a touch on the ball. Oftentimes when you're not able to touch the ball, make a save, even if it's an easy one in the early going, sometimes the nerves creep in a little bit. But these goalkeepers have been through the ringer. They're no stranger to playing in tight games. We've had a lot of tight games in this tournament. A couple blowouts here and there. But you're going to get that in any tournament with the amount of teams that are playing against each other. Once again, U18 Group A here, Kansas Rush Academy against NASA 15 Elite. Deft touch by Robert Dean over to the right side, into the box for Cal Jennings, and it will run out. Goal kick restarts it into play. Both players go up for it in the midfield, won by Thomas Perez. Settled down by Kansas Rush. Blake Goodale has his pocket pick, but then regains it. All the way back to the goalkeeper. Sam Glass is the starting goalkeeper for Kansas Rush today. To the far side, Ethan Bowman picking up some speed. He's got Lucas Joyner right on his back. Took the long shot. That was a bit hopeful, but sometimes in the early going it doesn't harm you too much to try and take an effort from there. It'll be put back into play by Riley Wildman, who is the goalkeeper today for NASA Elite. Through the midfield. That midfield has been really open for both these two teams as this one goes through the wickets of Weeks. A shot and a score! Through the wickets of Weeks, and it leads to a goal. 1-0 in favor of NASA.
Come on, boys. Hey, respond now. Let's go. Respond.
And we've seen that time and time again in this tournament, a fairly innocuous ball, just a bit mishandled. Might have caught a chunk there on the field. Regardless of what the situation was, it went through the wickets and ultimately could not be saved by Sam Glass. So first goal of the game goes to NASA. A flick here near side to Varela, trying to catch up to it. Into the muck right there on the top of the logo that's on the field. Chested down by El Halil. He'll leave it back. Trevino looking up top for the goal scorer, Cal Jennings. Bit of a push there. The referee says nothing to it. Now he will call it back. He was going to try to play the advantage. So it'll be a free kick just outside the center circle. Kansas Rush trying to lock themselves up a spot in the next round. Obviously, a lot of that would depend on the scoreline of the other game, as they're tied with 3 points in second place. Again, caught up in that little muck through the middle of the field. Mock gets it. Long ball, looking for a head ball. Second attempt. The defender was almost taken out. Bodies flying everywhere as this one cleared way downfield. Glass will come out to play it. NASA electing not to put too much pressure on the goalkeeper, just setting up their defense. A chest save there. The bench here for Kansas thought it might have been a handball. The official says no. Varela thought about getting the pass. Instead, it's taken by Mock. To the far side, Nelson. Trying to get that through ball over for Kearns, but again, the field playing very strangely here today. A lot of that due to the weather. It's going to get caught up a lot in the midfield as there's a lot of water sitting there. But strangely enough, on the outsides of the field, where you would figure most of the water would have settled, it's actually running fairly quickly. A lot of different water troughs here. We've got one kind of in front of my broadcast position, just outside the near sideline. I'm sure it's fairly similar over on the far sideline. Didn't get a chance to walk the field. Basically had to get out here and set up our equipment and get the games rolling, as this was supposed to be a 7:30 a.m. start. For all of those who had the opportunity to watch, we thank you, and obviously you're a little more content with the time starting. Although if you got up as early as some of us had to, then perhaps not so happy because maybe you didn't go back to sleep. Now here's Jennings again on the break, being tracked around, but he's got some speed. He played it off the defender, and that will lead to a corner. So the team out of Marietta, Georgia right now has things going their way. And that's just kind of how the game of soccer rolls. It's one of those cruel games where really Kansas has probably had the better of the possession, but they haven't been able to create solid chances out of it yet. They did have that one from Varela that went out of bounds, but ultimately it finds NASA in charge. Corner kick will be taken by Christopher Paul, and he will take it from the left footer. In swinger, way up in the air, headed back towards goal. It's loose in front, slide tackle, and then blasted away. Lucas Joyner got a piece of it. Could have easily taken a shot. A lot of times you'll see that, even from the sharp angle, but a great decision from Joyner to put it back into the mixer. Now Kansas trying to spring a counterattack, but that was thwarted as the ball just kept spinning away from Mock. Back towards the box, but Kansas will take control, trying to get it out. A little bit of mucky area down there. They will go all the way back to Wildman. NASA through the midfield. Perez. Deltek. And again, Deltek. Trying to send a through ball. Wanted to get it to El Halil. Chested down. Now here's Kansas on the counterattack. Intercepted. Trevino will try to bring it over towards the near wing. Gives it to Perez. Little flick back. Touch up to Perez. Left footed across. Diving for the ball and blasting it away was the defense as coming in late was El Halil. So that should lead to a corner kick. Right-footed on the ground, easily cleared away by Kansas. Right back into the mixer. Perez too far underneath it. He was in prime scoring opportunity. So the teams are going to take their allotted hydration break right now with NASA Elite currently in the lead by the score of 1-0 on a goal by Cal Jennings. And we're back after the hydration break. Substitution about to come in now for Kansas. Emery May will get his first action of the game. Tyler Seaman will take a break as Kansas looks to keep things fresh along the back line.
Let's go, boys. Respond.
Back underway by the goal kick from Sam. Back through the midfield. Slide tackle just evading it was Andrew Deltic. Here comes El Halil. He had his cleats slip in the grass. El Halil again will go far side as they try to swing it around. Here comes pressure. Try to cut it back right into the teeth of the defense. Through the midfield again. The passes in the midfield that were there for Kansas in the first part of the half are just not there right now. NASA seemingly kind of putting their stamp on this game so far. Obviously, Kansas has the talent to put some goals in the back of the net. Dean. Perez trying to send it through. They flick it back for El Halil. And the defense was right there. Deltic. Dean. Stepped into by Goodale. Whiffing on the slide tackle. numbers now potentially for Kansas. Varela upset that the ball did not come to the near side to him. Instead, it goes to the far side. Still in Goodale, battling for it over there. Just into the game, Emery May with an opportunity to get a good touch on the ball. Plays it in towards the middle. He'll take it towards the center of the pitch. Couldn't be handled by a Mock. Kansas still in it. A little bit reminiscent of the United States men's team last night, trying to seek out long balls right here. Here's a good one into the middle. They send it into the box. Looking for Mock. It was on the ground. Down low, Mock on it again, surrounded. That's actually Trevor Kearns. Back a little bit further now. May will send it back. Kansas pressing the reset button. Trying to chip it over to the back of the defense. Into the box for Perez, just outside. Perez trying to take it around multiple defenders here. Still evading the defense. Booted into the box. Nobody there in blue. And that's an easy claim by Glass. Rolled out for Nelson. Back to Glass. Kansas trying to find some space here. You have to wonder if potentially the weather has kind of thrown them off their game as he comes up to the near side for Shireman. He tries to take it onto the good grass. It takes a deflection for Varela. He takes a drive. Oh, just wide. Tony Varela with a great rip right there. It was knuckling. It took a bit of spin right off the foot, straightened out. But I think that initial spin took it offline of that post. That will run out, and it'll be a goal kick. Sterling Vaughn will come into the game for NASA, along with a couple other teammates. I'll get you their names here in a moment. Zachary Marquez. Will also come into the game. And they will hold up the other two substitutions, one for each team, until the next break. High up into the air with a lot of backspin, a little touch. Varela finds it here on the near side. It'll be a throw in for Kansas. And now we'll get more substitutions, one for each team. Ralph Finch will come into the game. That was actually Jad Ercian. He checked into the game just a moment ago for NASA. Through to the midfield. Center of the pitch. Ball gets caught up again in that slow area. Right at the top of the crown of the field. Water, for some reason, settling in fairly well there. NASA trying to counterattack here. This one will harmlessly go into the box. Cheekily chipped over the defender there. And now onside, here comes El Halil. He's going to take a left-footed shot. He scores! 2-0 in favor of NASA. We talked about it, whether or not they would have a chance. They're giving themselves a chance here. The goal differential is still -2. But right now, the NASA is doing all they can to keep their hopes of advancing alive. We'll try to get you an update at the half as to what's going on the field behind us. That's the other Group A matchup. That one of interest, because if NASA can complete this win, right now they would be directly even on goal differential with Kansas. Not sure what the extra tiebreaker would end up being. Long ball sent up. Nobody on the end of it with the blue jersey. Kansas trying to counterattack here. They've got to get something going before the half. Almost caught out no man's land as Trevor Kearns had it deflect off of his shoulder. But the goalkeeper, Riley Wildman, came out a few steps and then had to put the brakes on as that was almost knocked over his head. Kansas stringing a few good passes together, but once again, NASA doing what they've done all game as El Halil takes it around the defender, chugging, trying to get a piece of that one was Bailey Weeks, and he will have to get that jersey into the laundry after this game as he takes a big mud bath. Throw in for NASA. Paul puts it into the box, deflected. It'll be a corner kick. Not sure if that got all the way to glass or not, but it definitely went the head of, I believe, El Halil. And now apparently the linesman saw something extra that the referee did not see, so it'll be a goal kick. Jesse Andonian will check in for Kansas. Along with Josh Varela and Donald Pellin. Through the wickets of El Halil. Can he save it? He will keep it in bounds along the end line, looking for options. Plays it into the defender, and that one will be cleared out. Colorado United has scored behind us. We'll try to check on what that means to the standings here in a moment. NASA is very content just to play it along between the defenders. Up the wing, back towards the center. That one was intended for Dean, but too far. Here comes Varela. Puts on the brakes. To the far side, trying to keep it in and being adept at it. It's Kansas rush. Kansas trying to use the entire width of the field as they attempt to make a comeback as they are down 2-0 here in the first half. Going over the top. Kearns centers it. It went off the defender, I do believe. Corner kick upcoming for Kansas Rush as they are desperately trying to put one in the back of the net here. Kansas Rush electing to take the corner before the substitutions. Here comes in swinging towards the goal, a little bit too low. And that one will go into touch. Now we'll bring in all the substitutions. 3 coming in for Kansas Rush. 1 will come in for NASA. Checking in for the game for the first time for NASA will be Fernando Henao. So, CUP Gold, who's actually out of Ohio. I misspoke, thought it was Colorado United. There was a different team earlier in the tournament that was CUP, and it was Colorado United. But currently they lead by 1 goal, and they are the team that is currently tied with 3 points with Kansas Rush. So NASA, all their efforts could be for naught if that score line over there. Over to the near side is Kansas Rush looking for space. The touch was too hard there. That one will get caught up and stay in bounds. Christopher Paul will bring it up the near side, trying to find a man open at the top of the box. Instead, Kansas Rush trying to counter. Sending it over the through ball, gets down and nicely cut out at the last moment by the defender. It's a foot race here over to the near side. Bit of a push there, getting away with it. All clean, and then that one is not going to be clean. Foul goes against Walker Nax. Free kick to be taken by Ethan Bowman here on the near side, as there's going to be a 2-man wall for NASA. Bowman going to kick it with the left foot, so he's got the option of going towards goal, although you would figure that they would try to go for a head ball. Puts it towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Head ball! Not quite on target. Kansas was hoping for maybe a little bit of a deflection. Going to be a goal kick. Checking in now for Kansas Rush is Dalton Dye. Through the middle of the park, picked up by Kansas. Back towards the center of the pitch. Wildman bobbles it. Luckily for NASA, the defender was right there. Zachary Ferguson had an opportunity, but even if he had gotten a piece of that one, I believe the defender was too close for that to have been a real goal-scoring opportunity. But nevertheless, you never know. The goalkeeper, Riley Wildman, came out, tried to play it, couldn't smother it. Headed away off the Kansas Rush defense. Sterling Vaughn to Paul. Dean right at midfield. Dean gets it back. And again. Everything's cycling through Dean right now. Again, they try the outside. All the way back. NASA had better hope that this is not the game plan. And obviously, you find yourself up 2-0, and they've deserved and earned that lead, but you don't want to create too much time wasting. Obviously, if Kansas Rush is going to allow you that space at the back, then you have to do what you have to do. But trying to kill time for well over a half of soccer is a dangerous tactic. Too hard off the chest of Donald Pellin. Back the other way, trying to track it down is Hanau. He keeps it in, plays it off the defender, and he gains the corner kick. Into the box. Kansas heavily headed away, at least for now. They drop it for Dean. Settles it down with the left foot. He had a man open on the wing and instead took it right into the defender. Now Dean gets it from Fench. Slide tackle avoided. Puts it across. Kansas trying to counterattack here. Ferguson was up all by himself. He's in an offside position ever so briefly as this one is bouncing around in the box. Shot taken, scraping the face of goal, but ultimately out for the goal kick. Ferguson waiting for the ball to come to him. The defender cut it off. That one too hard off the NASA player. Last touch by Arzian. Slipping in the midfield there was Andonian. Again, that center circle is just kind of dangerous right now, grabbing onto the ball like Velcro, but slippery when it comes to players. The kick headed away and then cleared away. Andonian had it roll past him. El Halil with the cheeky flick. Can't get away with it. Kansas looking to counterattack. They would love to get half of this lead cut into. Nobody following the ball now. The Kansas Rush have it. Edge of the box. Shot taken. Wildman can't handle it. It was a decent save, but off the heels of the palm. That takes an odd hop off the turf and rolls out.
Well done, Jake. Well done, buddy.
Ferguson. And then Pellin tried to play it into the box. That was deflected. All the way out. That takes a hard skim off the grass. To the near side, Shireman. Shireman again, heads it over. Pellin had evacuated that area. Pellin takes it right in the groin. He's able to shrug that off. Back for Ferguson, trying to get that ball to settle down. Taking odd hops on the different places on the turf. Instead, it's headed away. Up and over the head of Ferguson. This one will go out here on the near side. Just below our center camera position. Now Pellin taking on two defenders, wanted to get it to Ferguson, but again, just a little bit of miscommunication. Kansas doing their best. 4 minutes of added time will be added on. Trying to gain a corner kick, at least getting a throw, was Josh Varela. Three minutes of extra time. A little bit of miscommunication on behalf of the referees, but understandable. They don't have the cool technology in the way of microphones that the professional ranks have. Even sometimes in the professional USL, the United Soccer League, they don't have those kind of cool toys. So 3 minutes of extra time will be added on at least. It'll come over here to the near side. Throw in coming up for NASA as they lead 2-0. Collision in the midfield, all legal. And now that one will be called a foul. Back and forth we go with the free kicks as we are into stoppage time. Halftime over on the other field, near as we can tell, CUP Gold is leading 1-0, which could really affect the outcome of this game. If this score held true, NASA would find themselves in a tie with Kansas Rush. But if CUP Gold ends up winning their game, that would see them through to the next round. Winning the challenge was Christopher Paul. And Donian was taken out with a shoulder tackle. Attempting to go for the ball was Jad Arsian. Pellin, after it was deflected around, but once again, just a step too slow by everybody on Kansas Rush right now. Andronian. Shireman rips it far side. And there is the halftime whistle. A couple goals for NASA 15 Elite. The first goal coming from Cal Jennings. The second goal from Rajad El Halil. And that is the scoreline that we have at halftime. We'll take a quick break for you here. When we come back, we'll have your second half of action. Once again, the score is 2-0 in favor of NASA. This is the U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships, brought to you by Turbo Sports Group. Nike Soccer, the official supplier of U.S. Youth Soccer. Olive Garden, the official dining room of U.S. Youth Soccer. Sports Authority, the official sporting goods retailer of U.S. Youth Soccer. And Wilson Trophy Company, the official awards, medals, and pin supplier of U.S. Youth Soccer. NSCAA is also a proud partner of U.S. Youth Soccer. We're just about ready to get underway here in half number 2. It is 1-0 in favor of CUP Gold over on the other field. So as we look at the live standings, that would pretty much mean the end of the road for Kansas Rush if the scorelines hold up. If Kansas Rush can come back and win, then all of a sudden it will go down to goal differential. Right now, CUP has a +4 goal differential if their scoreline holds up. So it's going to be an interesting finish to this one, especially if CUP can hold on, as they are currently leading the Fullerton Rangers, who currently have 4 points on the tournament. So they're not really necessarily guaranteed of a spot either. They need to pick up at least a point to guarantee themselves of a spot, because if they do not, if NASA can get the win here, that would actually put them into a potential tie with Fullerton, who has been in first place for most of this tournament within their group. So that would set up an interesting tiebreaker situation for them. So we're underway here in the second half with NASA out of Marietta, Georgia, in top by a score of 2-0. Once again, goals coming from Cal Jennings and Jad El Halil. The sun out in full force. There are still a few rain clouds, again, off to the north. We're just kind of skirting around it right now. But in terms of our location, it is sunny and humid. Now the left-footed shot right at the keeper. Andrew Deltek had it set up on a tee, but couldn't quite get the contact on it that he would have liked. The earlier you can score if you're Kansas Rush, the better, because especially with these weather conditions, it's going to be hot here today, regardless of cloud cover. The high easily supposed to get into the 90s, especially for this game, which was scheduled to be played at a more comfortable temperature during the 7:30 hour. Instead, now being played closer to the afternoon due to weather delays. So if you're tuning in expecting to see U14s, this is a U18 matchup. We had a big weather delay, as swinging and missing was Blake Goodale. But that would have been a good opportunity had he been able to connect. Now here comes Jennings. He's in behind the defense. He's got a runner. And a good deflection there. Putting the leg up was Shireman. He needed to get a piece of that one. Otherwise, running onto that ball would be Arcian. Kansas, again, just a little bit off today, a little bit behind on each pass. NASA doing a good job of putting on the pressure, though. Coming through the midfield, it'll come over to the near side as they swing it around. Kansas Rush, again, clad in the gray with blue trim, Chevy logo on their chest. Up to the left side, trying to get onto the ball. Cutting him off was Lucas Joyner, as Trevor Kearns just couldn't quite muscle him off. Again, looking for Jennings. He is just ever present on that forward line for NASA. Far side for Varela, but even with his speed, he will not be able to catch up to that one. High up into the air. Joyner with the head ball. come all the way back to Glass. He plays it around Jennings. Varela with the touch. Kansas doing a good job of having more possession here. Kearns looking for options. Has a man coming near side. But again, the pass just getting caught up in that grass just a little bit too much. De Julio was making a good run. And the pass probably had enough weight on it on just about a normal day. But we've had just enough rain over the past 3 days to really kind of soak that one up. De Julio will get the head onto it for Kansas, but Kearns could not find the handle. Instead, it was NASA in control, at least for the moment. Now Kearns making a run into the box. Right-footed touch again. Swings it back across. A head ball, they score! No! Apparently it went over the end line. The last touch by Kearns was just a bit too much. The linesman over on the far side saying that it went out, so no goal. Kansas thought they had one to clear at least part of this lead away. El Halil has it taken off of his foot, but that will go out for a corner kick. Right-footed in-swinger, a lot of air under the ball. Head ball back into the mixer. Glass was glued to his line. This one sent back in. Glass had the post covered, and that one harmlessly hits the side netting. Lofted over towards the near side. Kansas able to settle down. They've had better possession here to start off this half. They need to get a goal here quickly. You don't want to be chasing down 2-0 too long. We saw that very same thing happen. Kearns making the run. He gets a touch to it just wide of the far post. Oh, what a goal that would have been for Kearns. But unfortunately, it just went off the side foot a little bit too firmly.
It's coming, come on! Keep fighting!
As I was saying, we saw it with the United States men's team last night. For those of you who watched that game, ended up being a pretty entertaining game for a neutral. Obviously, those who are fans of the United States team very disappointed with the result. But they found themselves down 2-0 at the half and ended up just being too much to come back. Offside as the flag went up here. It would have been difficult for Arcean to get anyway as Glass skied high to get a touch to that one. Near side, space available for De Julio. Andonian over the half line. Kearns. Far side, picking up speed is May. And he had his pocket picked, late whistle. And it'll be a free kick in a dangerous area now for Kansas. So Kansas rush with a dangerous opportunity here as this one is not too far away from the area. You want to have what looks like at least a four-man wall, if not five. A lot of players in there for NASA. So many so that they actually might be outmanned in terms of trying to mark people. Low swinger right into the wall. They want a handball. Save made. The bicycle kick was there. Still not up. Touched over the bar as that one was dangerously close to the end line. It'll be a corner kick. Kansas rush petitioning. They thought there should have been a handball there on that initial play right into the wall. But perhaps better that it had not been called, although it might have been in the box. Difficult to tell from my vantage point as I am at field level. But nevertheless, Kansas with a low corner kick. This one deflected high up into the air. Wildman had a few too many bodies in front of him to come get it. Kansas plays it off over to the far sideline, able to settle it down. Now it's on for Trevino. He'll play it out, and it'll be another Kansas throw-in. So Kansas Rush doing a great job here of putting on the pressure as they try to cut into this lead. They've had a couple great opportunities. They thought they had a goal to cut it in half that was called out as it was played in after crossing the end line to go kick. To the near side for Andonian. Slipping up on the top line. El Halil was pretty much wide open there as that is the danger for Kansas Rush here as they push to get that goal. Right now you got to push numbers forward, try to get that goal to at least cut it in half, but that is going to leave you vulnerable at the back. High punt slicing through the air. Andonian gets a piece of it. May does as well. Back up into the air. To the near side. De Julio. Lofts one into the box. Hung up a little bit too much. Near side for Kearns. He cuts it into the box, down to the end line, chips it over the goalkeeper. Just a bit too much on it. Varela will hold it in on the far side. He wanted to put it back into the box, and he is taken down. That'll draw another foul and another dangerous free kick just outside the box, this time on the far side. So it'll be a left footer coming in. It's Kansas trying to cut into this 2-0 lead. Jennings and El Halil, the goal scorers. Line drive, flicked on, oh, just over the crossbar. That looked like it may have been on target. Kansas coming ever so close several times now in this half. But just whisker thin, they have not been able to put it in. NASA with it in control in the midfield, and again, now they seem to be a little bit too slow on the passes. Over to the near side, they find El Halil. Puts on a little bit of a juke move, takes it over towards the sideline, splits through two defenders, and draws the foul. And that's actually going to be a yellow card. That's going to go against Jesse Andonian. First yellow card of the game. Deltac to take the kick. All the blue jerseys on the edge of the box coming in. That one swung a bit too far back towards the top of the box, causing a few players to slip in their attempt to get it. Back into the mixer, Jennings and Deltac trying to chase it down, but that will roll out.
Let's go, boys! Come on!
Steamy day here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. As Kansas lets this one roll through. Kearns will get to it. A bit too heavy on the touch, able to catch up to it. Again, Wild centers it, and Wildman was wise to that. They've tried it about 3 times now. But Kearns, he's got so much speed, but to be able to maintain that speed when you have the ball, you sometimes have to put the ball too far out of reach. And he ended up a bit out of control. Flicked up, Andonian couldn't quite find the settle. Instead it goes far side, Deltek had his pocket picked as that was knocked out of bounds by Weeks. NASA content to let as much time roll off the clock as they can, each dead ball. This one's going to get caught up and stay in here on the near side. Sent right back towards the top of the box. Takes a flick and a shot, and they score. It didn't look like anything was going to come of that one, but NASA now takes a 3-0 lead. Chad Arsian with the goal as he was able to find it when it took a couple deflections in the box. Ended up coming down nicely to him. He got a volley with the side foot. Didn't quite get the shoelaces through that one, but probably didn't need to or want to in that instance, because he was able to loft that one nicely over the goalkeeper. Absolutely nothing that Glass could do. It was really reasonably well defended as well, just a couple bad bounces from a Kansas point of view. But that puts NASA really in control of this one as they're now up 3-0, as they're trying to match the goal differential that they might need given any potential tie to put them through into the next round. Try to keep you up to date on the other contest as best we can. There are no scoreboards here at the Mohawk Soccer Complex, so basically I'm judging score lines based on team and crowd reaction. As of right now, I do believe that the CUP goal is the only one scored in that other match, which would definitely make the goal differential tiebreaker an interesting one, assuming that this scoreline holds up. But Kansas, they've created a lot of chances. They still have an opportunity in this one. Down by 3 makes it a lot more difficult even than 2, but you have to play out the entire 90 and just see how things fall. Looking for El Khalil. Looked like it hit off the back of the arm. No handball will be called. Instead, it's handed back to Jennings. He's got a goal for himself today. Well defended there as Kansas looks to counterattack. Coming up is to Julio. Over to near side to Kearns. He's running out of options, hands it off. The back heel, maybe on another day that would work, but in this kind of turf, it's not going to get too far. Offside will be the call. Substitution about to come in now for Kansas as Tony Mock will check back into the game. Through the midfield, May sends it near side for De Julio, and once again, that ball just, it's unpredictable. It makes it kind of difficult for players to judge where it's going to go because sometimes it gets stuck in the ground. Other times it runs really fast off the wet grass. De Julio getting ahead on it, but Del Jaleo sends it back the other way, slipping and almost missing the ball. Throw in will go to NASA as they send it up the near wing. El Jaleo taking his time, lets it run all the way to him. He's just going to take it to the corner flag and try to kill some time here. Splits the defense now. Got one man to beat. Sends it across. Diving header. Arcian was trying to look for his second goal. Instead, Andonian will get it up and out. Touched out. Kearns will pick it up. Just can't find his footing. It seems to get caught up in between his legs so often here. It's just not been his day. He had an excellent run to start off this half. Thought he had the assist on the goal, but it ended up just a shade over the end line. Trying to switch the point of attack, flicking it over to the far side. Varela trying to chest it down. Second attempt is a little better. Back into the mixer, looking for Kearns. He chests it down, ball loose. Goalkeeper dives out, makes the save. And that one will be cleared away. Again, Kearns just putting in an absolute yeoman's effort here, but all for naught so far, as he just can't quite get the bounces that he needs. Again, trying to keep you abreast of the situation, doing my best to hear some of the ancillary talks going around. I believe I heard from the main tent on this field that if the scorelines hold up, that it would be NASA going through, but a lot can change. Kansas can put in a goal, and then all of a sudden we'd be even. As the hydration break comes for the field in behind us, we'll probably have one ourselves here in the next few minutes as we approach the midway point through the half. Substitution going to come in for Kansas. They want to try to keep legs as fresh as they can in their attempt to at least cut into this lead. Zachary Ferguson will come in for Varela. May shoulders it, and they will play it all the way back to Glass. No pressure put on here by NASA with a 3-goal lead. They don't want to really take too many chances to not have numbers behind the ball, as that one will go out and it'll be a throw in. So with the stoppage, we will get a stoppage as they are going to take a quick hydration break. Your score here at the Mohawk Soccer Complex in Group A action between Kansas Rush and NASA Elite is 3-0 in favor of NASA. The hydration break is finished, and we are ready to finish out this game. 3-0 is your score. NASA Elite in charge. They've got goals from Cal Jennings, Khalil, and Jad Arcian. Trying to get in the middle for Mock. May. Far side for Shireman. pops it up into the box. Wildman came out to get it. Kansas had a player trying to come in late to steal that one away with a head ball, but Wildman took a good path to the ball. May back to the center back position. Might be a giveaway here. El Halil pushes down the defender. He's alone in the box now. Centers it, and the chance off the post. Would not have mattered anyway. Offside is the call. Kansas trying to get it restarted here quickly. Line drive right up the pitch. Diving to knock it out was Jimmy Montiel Castro. Deltek will track it down on the far sideline. Lifts it in. Trying to get a shot off. Big save there by Glass. The rebound still loose. A lot of blue jerseys there. Another save by Glass as he is under fire. This one cleared away. It'll go into touch. Defensively, the wheels falling off a little bit for Kansas as they push numbers forward, looking for any kind of goal that they can get right now. Ferguson trying to get a hold of it. He's bumped off the ball. El Halil making the run near side, and the pass is sent to him. He gets it inside the box. Glass with another save. Might have been heading wide, but that was close enough that any goalkeeper worth his salt would dive over and make the save. Corner kick coming up, though, as that one rolled out. And as you would figure, NASA is going to take all the time that the officials will allow on just about any set piece or dead ball. Jennings, line drive. Glass got a piece of it, and it's headed off the line by the defense. De Julio able to clear it out at least for the moment. That one popped high up into the air. Not too much purpose behind it as it came off oddly off the foot of Ethan Bowman. Now again, a lot of blue jerseys around. Trying to get to it is Deltek. It will go out and another corner kick. They will take a corner before the substitution will come in. Right-footed in swinger coming in. Headed away by Poe. They get a bicycle kick, puts it back into the mixer. Jennings was jumping up for that one. Just off the scalp. Tyler Seaman will come into the game now. Trevor Kearns will get a rest. Is that substitution not necessarily player for player as Seaman comes in back on the back line. That will push a different player forward as Kearns had done a lot of good work on the forward line. Just couldn't get that ball to settle down the way he needed to get that final pass or shot off. Now here comes Jennings. He takes it around one defender, takes a bit of a bump in the back, and there's going to be another yellow card. So that will set up a dangerous free kick. And again, time continuing to tick off the clock. We're roughly in the 73rd minute here. 3-0 is your score. NASA Elite in control. And that one will go way over.
Hey, intensity, guys, come on. Come on. 20 left.
Kansas will bring it over to the near side for DeJulio. He'll send it up for Ferguson. He will not win the foot race, though. Good speed there from Joyner. Kansas has it. DeJulio sends it in. And again, cut out by the center back. Bowman trying to keep in control of it. Muscled off the ball. A little bit of frustration setting in there. Nance bringing it all the way up to the pitch for Jennings over here on the near side. He's bumped in too hard. And will that draw another card? Does not look like it as of yet. The foul goes against Tyler Seaman, who just came back into the game. And it looks like he will just get a talking to from the official. Swung into the box, headed out by the defense, but only back to the near sideline. Deltek will bring it back into the 18-yard area, puts it to the top of the box. Dangerous here. It takes a couple bounces. Glass slides out and calmly claims it as his own. Skidding it along the wet surface, picking it up is Ethan Bowman. Puts on the brakes a little bit, allows the defender to catch up, trying to bring it over towards the middle, back near towards the wing. Slide tackle will take out the man. Ferguson still in control of it. Now Ferguson gets it back. And eventually we will have an offside call. Not sure if advantage was played or if that was never going to be a foul. DeJulio hits the deck here. May can't quite get his cleats into the ground. Deltek. May trying to make the steal. Deltek gets it back. Booted over to the far side. Right back into the middle, settled down by Mock. Back for Glass.
Believe, Greg, come on. Believe.
DeJulio back into the center of the pitch. Mock. Again, getting caught up in that mud pit that's going to be for the rest of the day in the center. May, not quite the urgency that he needed. Back up towards midfield. Jennings again. To the far side. El Halil has gone over there now. Left foots it towards the near post. Far post from his vantage point. But it will just roll out for the goal kick. DeJulio catches it back, but May was unsuspecting of the pass. And again, looking at the official standings on the website, according to that, if scorelines held up, it would be CUP Gold going through. But there was a conversation earlier that it might have been the other way around, so I might have missed a goal somewhere. This one sent into the box, calmly cleaned by Wildman. We'll try to get you a final on that other game, or you can go to the link, put it in another window, at championships.usyouthsoccer.org. And get up to date on that other Group A match and see what's going on with CUP Gold. Definitely has something to play here for NASA Elite. They've done pretty much all they can do unless they put in another one to really kind of put the pressure on. But they've done what they needed to do, which was win here today. They gave themselves a chance picking up a point in one of their first two games. Getting the win here today would really put the pressure on, but still a lot to be decided based on other factors. Over to the near wing for Hall. Had his pocket picked. Here comes Bowman. Just a bit too strong on that one. Substitution coming in now for Kansas Rush as Josh Varela will come in. Just the one substitution for now. Dalton Dye will come in at the next opportunity, as well as a substitution for NASA. Sterling Vaughn coming on now for NASA. It's going to be a throw for the team from Marietta, Georgia, as they lead by the score of 3-0. Goals from Cal Jennings, El Khalil, and Jad Arsian. And now they put in another one. 4-0, and that is all she wrote. That is really putting the pressure on the far field now. NASA doing all they can to try to get themselves on to the next round. They put themselves behind the 8 ball a little bit with the goal differential. And again, they came into this game at a -4, so they have evened that up with 4 goals. Kansas trying to cut into this one. Ferguson, and take a deflection. It will be a corner kick. That one would have been labeled for the far post if it had gone in. Again, if you really want to check out the official score, go to championships.usyouthsoccer.org. And it will be CUP Gold, that contest. Let's see how that pertains to this one. Kansas will put it high up into the air. This is in a good position. May was able to knot it down. Now May tried to put it on the right foot. That was allowing the defender to get a block to it. Now El Halil will pick up speed. He's trying to chunk through some of that mud, and ultimately the ball just kind of rolled around. Slide tackle was unsuccessful in retaining the ball. Back in the hands of NASA Elite off the defender. Slows the ball down. Artesian plays it up, gets it to himself, trying to take on the defender. Kansas a little bit laboring now. It's been a long game. There's a handball here on the near side, but the official did not call it. Whether that's due to the score line or just simply not seeing it is up for debate. Kansas just unable to win some of these loose balls, and that has ultimately cost them a little bit here in this one. They came out The first few minutes of the first half and a lot of minutes to open up the second half, putting them in positions to try to score a goal, but those final balls just have not been there, whether it's due to luck or just a combination of different factors. Things have not bounced the way of Kansas Rush. It's all NASA, as they've done everything they needed to do. If they can get one more, that would really help themselves out as they send this one across the box. But those are the kind of situations to why they play these games congruently. You don't want teams to necessarily know what's going on the other field and just let them play their own games. Another substitution going to check in for NASA as the next opportune time presents itself. Here comes the team from Marietta, Georgia. They send one over the top. They were looking for Arsian, but that one well out of his reach. This through ball goes to the far side. Left-footed shot, save. The rebound comes loose. And NASA was able to clear it with some possession. El Halil, a little bit lax on the far sideline. Swinging it. A collision there. Kansas coming away with it. Mock into the defender. Still retains it. Mock still with it. Blue jerseys catching up to him. Near side looking for Ferguson. And again, offside is the call. Tanner Hummel will come into the game for NASA. Not too much time left in this game as we've got a 4-0 score line. As I said, NASA has done pretty much all they can do unless they can get another goal to really help themselves out. Right now, it's going to come down to goal differential, it looks like, because these score lines don't look like they're going to change. As far as I know, and again, this is unofficial, CUP Gold is up by the score of 1-0. Based on goal differential, I believe CUP Gold would go through. Offside is the call here. But again, you can catch up on all the standings at USYSoccer.org. Glad you're watching here as we present all these games throughout the tournament at Turbo Sports Group. Go to turbosportsgroup.com for all your video and highlight needs, as well as streaming possibilities. If you want a hard copy of any of the games that have occurred during this tournament, you can get that on the website as well. Again, that's turbosportsgroup.com. Slid across, NASA looking for that potential fifth goal that would put them on the positive side of the goal differential chart. So again, NASA has put themselves in a great position here. If CUP Gold can hold on and get their win, And there is a penalty kick. Glass called for the foul. He is going to get a yellow card. Third yellow card of the game, all to Kansas Rush. It's just been a pretty frustrating game for them here today. But again, unofficial, all of this, but CUP Gold would actually vault to the top. And again, it would come down to goal differential, as both teams right now would be even. And Fullerton Rangers and Kansas would have to come down to some other tiebreaker. So a goal opportunity here, and it's in 5-0. That might actually put NASA into the knockout round. Again, that's depending on the official score on the other field, but the score is 5-0 now as El Halil puts in the goal on the penalty kick.
Hey, until the end, boys. Come on. Together. Until the end. Let's go. Together.
So again, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but again, unofficial. But now with the score 5-0, that might put NASA through to the next round if indeed the score is still 1-0 in favor of CUP Gold. A lot of interested faces right now, looking at other fields, trying to figure out what's going on. Extra time almost imminent. At least 2 minutes of extra time will be added on, according to the fourth official. Booted back towards the Kansas goal box. Again, another handball. Kansas trying to at least get a goal to send themselves out on a semi-positive note. Nothing to be had there as that one couldn't find Donald Pellin. El Halil taking his time. You can see that he's put in a lot of hard work as those socks are not the color they're supposed to be. El Halil in the box. Wisely just takes it out. He was surrounded quickly and gaining the goal kick. So the final whistle goes over on the far field, and CUP Gold is celebrating, so that must mean that they got the 3 points, which will put them through as the first place team in their group. And right now, we'll wait and see what the score was, but obviously if they won, that must mean that NASA will most likely go through as the second place team in this group. Again, for official score lines and standings, go to championships.usyouthsoccer.org. Perez comes in now. El Halil will take a break. These substitutions just trying to cap off this clock here as Ralph Finch will also come in along with Fernando Henao. Looking up top for Finch. And there is the final whistle. NASA may have put themselves through to the knockout round. They scored 5 goals. That put them on the positive side of the goal differential mark. Go to US Youth Soccer to check out all the official scores and standings of this tournament. And check out to see who's carrying on to the next round. Unofficially, I do believe it will be NASA as the number 2 team in their group. Obviously, that is unofficial, so as I said, go to the website, check that out. But for everybody here from Turbo Sports, Mark in the production truck, all our great cameramen, I'm Todd Panula. The final score in this one is 5-0. Until the next time, have a good one.